Nikita from Elton John at 9:30 on Monday Breakfast with Peter Cassidy on 94.1 3WBC, informing and entertaining Melbourne's inner east. And here for his regular spot from Neighbourhood Watch, Mr. Ray Summers. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Peter.
How are you?
I'm terrific. North Melbourne won.
Yes, well.
Well, I won't ask you about that. What's your team that you barrack for?
No, that's
No?
it. No more conversation about football. I've done all that.
Right.
I'm over it.
We won't talk about cricket.
No.
You warned me that last month.
Definitely not cricket. Oh, goodness.
Peter, we are in luck today. I've been able to recruit Crime Prevention Officer leading Senior Constable Rebecca Millen from Box Hill Police Station. And would you believe it, she drove over here and used the appropriate parking spot? Incredible.
That
And
is
you and
good.
I had to park out on the street.
That's right.
Beck is based at Box Hill and works with Neighbourhood Watch and other groups around Whitehorse. And I think Neighbourhood Watch is very lucky having Beck in her role as Crime Prevention Officer. It is best for me to invite Beck to share with your listeners a 10-minute picture of her role as Crime Prevention Officer in Whitehorse and all the other areas that Beck covers. And so I'll leave it up to you, Peter. You've met Beck.
Well,
You
yeah.
can take over for the next 10 minutes or so. And while you're talking, thanks for that cream cake. I'll have a coffee and cream cake.
Okay, you do that. Enjoy. I'll have a donut at the same time. Welcome, Beck. Nice to see you. Thank you for taking the time to come in.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
So, Crime Prevention Officer, Whitehorse. Big job.
It is a big job. It's a large area, but it's a good job.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it now for 3 years.
Oh, okay. And what were you on prior to that? General
Prior to that,
duties?
General duties.
I love
so
that. That covers a whole
It
bunch
does.
of things, doesn't
It's
it?
not very specific, is it? But I've been across the road at Box Hill for, I think, 15 years now. So,
Okay.
yeah, I've been in the job for 20 years, so the majority has been out here.
Yeah.
And general duty, so driving around in the van or working the watch house.
Right. Okay. So tell us a bit about the responsibilities of your job as it stands currently.
Yeah. So I get to work with great community groups like Neighbourhood Watch. I get to go out and speak to other community groups on crime prevention, and they can range from little kids in kinder or primary school all the way up to businesses, retirees, all different sort of groups. I also get to go out to businesses and residential houses and do what I call a security audit, so I can walk around the premises and give advice on some more security options.
Okay. If I can just take a
Yeah.
point from there. You mentioned houses as well.
Yeah, definitely. The CI across the road, the detectives and the crime desk, if they go to a burglary that they think might use some more advice or some more help,
Yes.
especially if it's been a victim that's had a second burglary occur, or the victim is elderly or a bit isolated and needs a bit more assistance, I can go out there and offer that assistance. And I walk around the house and just simple things like suggesting sensor lights, proper locks on doors, security doors, locks on windows,
Yes.
lighting, and even just foliage being cut back so that the street, it's more visible from the street.
Yes.
Because unfortunately it's more a opportunity type thing for you to be broken into, especially during the day. I tell a lot of our residents when I go to talks, more of the older residents that are home during the day, that if someone comes to your door and knocks on the door and gives you a bit of a dodgy story as to why they're there, they might ask for John, or they might ask if they've seen a dog or something. And if they get that gut feeling that it's not right, generally it isn't right, and that person is just simply knocking on the door to see if someone's home. Now,
Okay.
obviously, a lot of people are out at work, so if they get that door that no one answers, 9 times out of 10 they'll go around the back of the house and try to break in. So what we're trying to do is make it a bit harder. And if that house can be clearly seen from the street, if that house has gates that are closed and stopping people from walking straight away through the backyard, that's a deterrent in itself.
Yes.
Just having simple things like that and having those gates locked as well.
Yeah. And so many people today construct front fences that you
Yes.
can't get over easily. But the fact is, people can get over them, and you're in fact disguising or hiding what may be going on
What's
behind
occurring, yeah.
There could be a bad guy behind the fence,
Exactly.
stripping your joint of the television set and everything else.
Yeah. If anything, a good house from the street is clearly visible. The front
Yes.
door, front windows, has a gate and a fence, but not necessarily a really high one. Chest height is good, because anything chest height and above takes effort to get over. So
Yes.
if the fences, fence and gates are locked and they have to physically jump over, that's hard work for them. So they'll probably go on to the next house that's easier. But if you can clearly see the house from the street, that's a deterrent in itself. And if you can clearly see that there's gates and fences that are going to stop you from getting into that backyard easy, that's a deterrent.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Just harking back to you giving talks and being invited by the guys in CI to go and have a look at a particular
Yes.
issue. Is it possible for us for residents to get in touch with you and say, hey, I think I might have a problem, or would you come down and have a look at my house? Is that something
Yeah.
you can do as well?
I can. Granted, I only work 3 days a week and I can be quite busy, but what I could do is send out some information, and I do have a
Okay.
checklist that people that can
Excellent.
go around their own house and just follow a simple tick and flick. And if they come across something that is ticked with a no, they don't have that in place, then at the back of the sheet there's ideas on how to fix that problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that
good
could be a
advice.
start.
Yes.
And then if that still isn't sufficient, I could probably come out and assist.
Right, that's good advice, and something I wasn't aware of. So that's worth following up for our listeners. It's now 23 minutes before 10. You're listening to Monday Breakfast with Peter Cassidy. My studio guest this morning, courtesy of Ray Summers from Whitehorse Neighbourhood Watch, is leading Senior Constable Rebecca Beck Millen, Crime Prevention Officer from Whitehorse. And Beck, you said you also do a lot of talks to kids as well. Kindergarten or above?
I do. Well, we have youth resources officers, so I tend to stay away from teenagers and deal with little folk. So
Right.
I do regularly go out to kinders and also to primary schools. With the assistance of some Neighbourhood Watch members, we give out a great booklet that Neighbourhood Watch produced. But I just talk to them about safety at home, at school, when they're out in the shops with mum and dad. But basically, it's more a meet and greet to let the kids know that we're not scary. We're not going to come and take them away if they don't eat their dinner, like some parents unfortunately say.
They do.
And the main draw card is that I bring some old uniforms, so the pale blue shirts
Yes.
that Ray's wife Chris kindly sewed to make them quite small and fit the little kids.
Ah, cute.
I have ties and hats, and of course the police car. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the draw card for the visit, that they all get to dress up and hop in the police car. So it's a
Oh,
great
yeah.
It's a great day for me
That's
too.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Actually, a big, off the subject somewhat, but that was a great draw card for me a couple of years ago at the White Horse Festival. I think the Highway Patrol had
Yeah.
one of their cars down there.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
I
pretty.
felt like a kid. That was sensational.
Look, they
Just
did
sitting in it.
Yeah, and look, I find a lot of adults do like to jump in and have a
Yeah.
look and put a hat on. So
Boy, and with all the technology arranged around the front seat of those cars.
yeah, they're pretty
Surprised
good.
they can
those
drive
ones.
at all. So you cover, as you said, a fairly wide area.
Yeah.
What neighbourhood watch areas are you taking in at the moment as part of your brief? Is it
All of the areas in Whitehorse,
Right.
all of the Neighbourhood Watch areas. In fact, I do a monthly activity with Neighbourhood Watch. What did we do last? We did residential burglaries on the apartments around Box Hill. So,
now that's interesting.
yeah, so what I look at is I see what's happened in the last few days. We have a monthly date that we meet up at the Nuttawading Police Station, and I have a bus that they all jump into, and I take them somewhere to deliver pamphlets into letterboxes. On one occasion, this is what we did last time. What had happened over the weekend was a lot of break-ins on the apartment buildings in the Bruce, Archibald, near the Box Hill Gardens area,
Really?
where the offender was actually climbing up over balconies and entering unlocked doors. People were thinking obviously it was safe enough to leave their doors unlocked up there.
Yeah.
So my Neighbourhood Watch volunteers and I think there was about 12 of us all up, went around and delivered about 600 pamphlets into all the letterboxes in that area. We actually had a good result later in the day when I got back to work that the detective had actually caught the man that had been doing those break-ins over the
That's a
weekend.
bonus.
Yeah, so it does pay off.
Yes.
We do a lot of other things, like might go down to the railway station and put flyers on car windows.
Ah, yes. Well, that's a continuing exercise, isn't it?
It is.
Look, lock and leave.
Yeah, they're pretty vulnerable sitting at the train stations, especially if someone leaves something of value in the car. Offenders know that they're sitting there for a long period of time, and, you know, if they're going to leave a handbag, a GPS, a phone, something of value, unfortunately, they can just smash a window and grab it. So we just like to educate and remind people, and I think through the summer more often, so that we don't get wet windows, we had a good result. I think we saw a decrease in offences, especially at Mitcham
Station.
Mitcham Station.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, and we kind of hit that a few
Yep,
times in a
2
row.
or 3 times, and
And you
it
could
went
see
down.
the decrease in offences
Yes.
simply because we were saturating all the cars with information on their windscreens, and I'm sure people got off the train thinking that they had some sort of ticket, and were probably glad to see that it was the information, but it worked.
Yes.
So we regularly do that, and we'll probably do that again.
Continue to do it.
Definitely.
You must get terribly frustrated with that situation, particularly,
It
with
is a
people
little bit.
just being silly enough to leave
Yeah.
valuable stuff
Unfortunately,
in their car.
theft from motorcar is one of our biggest offences in Whitehorse, and I think it comes down to people being a bit complacent, especially in their driveways. I find that people don't lock their cars, leave their wallets, laptops, a lot of things in their cars. And it only takes, again, opportunistic people to walk down your driveway, try a door handle, and a lot of the time they find them unlocked and take whatever's inside. Simple, even just the coins in your centre console can add up to $20, $50 of coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
so-
my console.
No, not in mine either. I wish.
No, that's right. This also is off the subject, I guess, but vandalism of cars in recent days. I mean, over a course
Yes.
of 7 days or 10 days, an enormous strike of vandalism on cars parked in the streets.
Parked
of
in the
course.
street. And from what I can understand, nothing was necessarily taken from all of
Purely
those cars.
vandalism for
So that's
kicks or something. There's some
it's
idiots
quite
out there.
disturbing.
Yeah, yeah, and very little chance of catching them unless there's a CCTV somewhere that
Yeah.
catches them in the act, and
In the act.
you can get the number plate or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunately. I don't even know what to say. That's just pure vandalism.
Yeah.
It's not even for any gain.
No, quite stupid. Beck, what's the future for Neighbourhood Watch, do you think? In the past, I think it'd be fair to say that the interest in Neighbourhood Watch did decline to some extent, and branches were closing all over the place, and branches were amalgamating to give them a bit more strength in numbers. How do you see the future playing out now? We've got a new general manager. Is that the correct
I've
title?
applied for CEO.
CEO, I beg your pardon, yes, who's certainly revitalising the whole organisation. Do you see it continuing to gain strength in the future as an organisation?
I think so. I think there's been some interest with some new areas going to pop up.
Yes.
So I know of some new ones in Burundara that were the old Kew cottages.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a new housing estate, and one
Yes.
has evolved from there because they were having some problems. So there's a new group
Carlton,
there.
there's new groups there, and certainly over on the western side, Point
Right.
Cook and areas like that, they are in boom times.
That's good.
I think 2 issues that Neighbourhood Watch have. One, there is going to be change regardless, and as we get older, we don't like that very much. And secondly, is the methods of how we go about it. In the 30 years ago, we delivered single-page newsletters to every letterbox. Well, we're losing walkers because they're getting too old, so therefore we have to change to other mediums of getting our message out.
And that's working pretty well, I'd have to say.
Well,
good
you know,
quality.
we're
Certainly good quality.
We're trying.
Yes.
One of the councillors in Whitehorse, in fact, has asked, can she distribute our e-news to all of her interested people that are on her list
Oh,
of
that's good.
supporters.
Yeah.
So there's another 300 she doesn't see a problem.
No, that's good.
So that's good. It is progressively increasing.
That's good. So it's a case of keeping up the work that you've put in train now and making sure that it continues into the future.
But we've got to change our ways about going
a different
about
method of communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Things are different to what it was 30 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody who joined Neighbourhood Watch were 50. Now today they're 80 and 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what's
right.
happening.
And so many people are relying on burglar alarms to protect their properties, I guess. So they're saying, well, I don't really need Neighbourhood Watch in this area. I've got a burglar alarm that I can monitor while I'm on holiday in Darwin and all this sort of nonsense.
Yeah,
if I could work out how to do it, I'd be the first one to buy it.
I think technology is good, but at the end of the day, if people can take the time to know their neighbours, I think that, and neighbours can watch out a bit. I'm fortunate to have some elderly neighbours, and they know my comings and goings more than probably my husband does sometimes, because they're at home, they're looking out the window, and if anything was to go wrong, they can let me know.
That's good.
Yeah, so I think if you can just take the time to get to know your neighbours, I think it's a bonus.
Yes. You enjoy your job, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I think you can tell when somebody enjoys their job. And
Yes.
certainly in your case. Yeah, it's terrific. And you're doing it 3 days a week, you said?
Yeah, I'm part time, so that they're not permanent days. It's just a matter of, and I can easily fill them each day. So it's just a matter of when things are on. Yeah, so,
That's great.
Yeah, it's
Well,
good.
I wish you continued success in the future, and thank you so much
Thanks,
for coming in
Peter.
and spending some time with us today and bringing us up to date with the policing side of Neighbourhood Watch. Ray.
I have one message to
One message.
new item.
Okay.
We now know that Forest Hill Police Station is open. $12 million of taxpayer money, and it looks pretty smart. And I believe they've got some good one-room accommodation down there too, one bedroom.
I hope neither of us have to find out.
But it's cheap. Anyway, it opened up on Wednesday the 18th of August. It's a 20, I said the 18th, Wednesday the 12th of August. It's a 24-hour counter service to the community. Really, what was offered as a 24-hour station in Nuttawading has now gone to Forest Hill. And its address is 469 Springvale Road, Forest Hill, and its phone number is 88473600. That's the important one. And I think Poor Nuttawading is now only going to be open Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30 to 4:30. So I think I'd go direct to Forest Hill.
Yeah, that'd be the way to go.
And the day you want to go to Nuttawading, they'll be closed, so don't bother. And that service is going to come in from Monday the 17th. And it'll take people in the city of Whitehorse a long term to realise that the service that Nuttawading provided the public really has moved to Forest Hill.
Okay, so that's the new address, 24/7 Springvale Road, 24/7 in Springvale Road, Forest Hill. That number again is 88473600. And I think we should, at that point, say good morning, Ray. Thank you very much for coming in. Lovely to see you again. And you'll be back on the 21st of September?
Yes, I will be back.
Look forward to that. And your guest, again, thank you, Leading Senior Constable Beck Millen, Crime Prevention Officer, Whitehorse. You must have a very long business card.
I do.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for your
Peter.
time. Look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Good.
And we've got John Parr. And at 11 minutes before 10, this is St Elmo's Fire.